Hello and welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to be doing another upgrade video, and this time we're going to upgrade this machine that I've had for about 22 years or so. We're going to go from an Intel Celeron to a Pentium 3 CPU. It's a socket 370 motherboard, and it will support up to a Coppermine 1 GHz Pentium 3, so that's what we're going to put in. It will support Tualatin with the right adapter, but I don't have that, so we're just going to go with Coppermine. It should be fast enough. So here's the motherboard. This case is kind of cluttered. It's actually a baby AT motherboard with a baby AT case, so it's kind of old school. Kind of a mess inside. Here's the old Intel Celeron CPU, and here's the new Pentium 3. Now you might notice that the Celeron was a 700 MHz. That's because I had it overclocked. It was at 66 MHz FSB. I just put it up to 100 MHz FSB, and that made it into a 1050 MHz CPU. And we've just installed the CPU in there. It was basically impossible to record the process of putting on the heatsink, so I didn't even bother. For some reason, the CPU wasn't actually recognized in the BIOS. So that was a bit worrying, and it actually took me a little bit of time to get the machine started, but after clearing the CMOS, it did end up working. So here we have the CPU recognized in Windows, at least, with CPU Z, so everything seems to be in order. I'm going to be doing a little benchmark here to compare it to the Via Eden CPU, I believe. Now you have to excuse me. I've recorded this these videos, this footage, about half a year ago. I was going to make this video a long time ago, but I never got around to it because so much stuff came up, and I just couldn't do it. And yeah, so I thought I had footage of CPU Z on the Celeron, but I couldn't find it, so unfortunately I can't compare the two. But here's the score that we got with the Pentium 3, but it's definitely higher than the Celeron, that's for sure. So let's do some benchmarks, starting out with Doom. We can already see that the Pentium 3 is going ahead a little bit, leaving the Celeron in the dust. In fact, it got done so quick that I wasn't able to sync up the two, both showing the end result screen. But we got 936 real ticks and 1033. As you can see, we only got 120 FPS in Quake 1 on the Celeron and 133 on the Pentium 3. So this is a definite upgrade. Now with Carmageddon 2, I ran into an issue. I made a mistake. I only just realized that after, months after recording this footage that for the Pentium 3 footage, I forgot to put the CD into the drive. And what happens with Carmageddon 2 is that it tries to constantly access the CD drive, trying to look for all the Iron Maiden songs so it can play them, but yeah, and that causes a bit of a slowdown, and I didn't realize that until now, so that test is going into the bin. And also, Need for Speed 3 isn't really the best game to test here. Hot Pursuit, for some reason I wasn't able to turn off the VSync for this game. And what it does on this machine is it keeps locking on to 38 FPS and sometimes speeding up to 64, which is the maximum of the game. Now the monitor is 75 Hz, so like half of it would be 38, so it's a half double buffer VSync issue. But you can see that it seems to be speeding up a lot more on the Pentium 3, so it looks like it's closer to the 64 FPS target on the Pentium 3 than it is on the Celeron, so looks like there's a little bit of a uplift between the two, going from the Celeron to the Pentium 3. So let's go over to my favorite PC racing game of all time, Need for Speed Porsche 2000, also known as Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed in America. So I played the replay and compared the two, and you can immediately see there's a huge difference. Quite a nice uplift. We're running in 1280 by 1024, but it's fine because the machine has a really powerful video card, a GeForce TI-40 so it's no issue for this card to run this game at 1280 by 1024. So we're definitely CPU limited here, and you can see a great difference between the two CPUs. Now, I don't think this is merely down to the fact that the Pentium 3 has more cache, 256 versus 128. It's more possibly down to the fact that the frontside bus is a little bit higher. So we're going from 100 MHz frontside bus to 133 MHz frontside bus, which just speeds up the communication. And I feel like if I was able to hunt down like a 700 MHz CPU that has 100 MHz FSB and overclocked it to the 1050 with the 133, or like something like that. I'm not sure how it would come out exactly, but if I was able to overclock the Celeron to 133 MHz FSB, they would be a little bit closer. This is also the most demanding level in the game, Schwarzwald, so we can definitely see that this is like the game's only going to run better than this on any other level because this is the most demanding one. I also decided to check out Mafia. We're running here in 640 by 480. Not really it doesn't really matter. The resolution was irrelevant. The video card would be able to take more than this, but we're definitely CPU limited, and you can see that there's definitely a little bit of a difference between the two. However, it's still not really playable on the Pentium 3. This is all maximum details. Of course, if you turn it down, it runs a little bit better, but not that much better. Despite the fact that this game claims that it only needs like a Pentium 2 CPU or a low-end Pentium 3 CPU to run as a minimum requirement, which is, I mean, that's just ridiculous because even with a 1 GHz Pentium 3 we cannot get a good playable frame rate. You'd need at least like a Pentium 4 class machine to get this game to run nicely, but at least it was a good comparison, and we can definitely see a little bit of a difference because it's a heavily CPU dependent game. And also, let's check out another great racing game, Midtown Madness. Definitely, you can see a bit of an edge for the Pentium 3. It just grants you a slightly smoother experience than the Celeron. So, definitely noticeable if you, not only if you compare them side by side, but just it feels much nicer just to play.
Go for the finish! Hey, I gotta tell you, pal, you rock big time!
So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sorry it took me so long to make another video, but I just had a lot of stuff going on and didn't get around to it. But I'm hopefully going to be making more videos about computers and other stuff in the future. So hope to see you on the next video, and if you'd like to drop by, check out my Twitch stream, link in the description. Actually, all of the footage I've recorded live for this on my stream, so I actually do that quite often, that I check out a certain computer on my stream and then eventually make a video of it. I did that same thing with the Pentium 4 upgrade machine upgrade video as well, so if you're into that kind of stuff, then come check us out. But I also play a lot of other retro stuff, mainly PlayStation 1 games. Alright, thanks for watching, and see you later.